Hi everyone, welcome back to another lesson in Python. We are studying loops and ifs and elifs and else statements, and we've been going at it pretty hard all week on that. We're really trying to make sure that we get this fundamentals down. So I want to look at a couple more just examples and then kind of introduce a project. So the first thing I want to do is I want to look at using a loop in and an if statement inside our turtle. So let's say from turtle import star. Okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a shape, and that shape is going to be dependent on what the user inputs. So I'm going to say sides equals input how many sided polygon do you want? So we're going to make, if they say 3, we're going to do something else. If they say 4, we'll do something else. All right. So the first thing we need to deal with is that every time you ask the user for input, it's going to come in as a variable in string format. So let me just debug this right quick, and I want you to see that. So let's go to view variables, okay? We'll run the debugger strip. This is going to be called shape ask. Okay, so we'll just step over that. All right, so, oh, you know what? Because I've got all those variables, I've imported all those different things, it's going to be kind of at the top, but that's okay. So side is going to ask me how many do I want. So I'm going to say 5. Okay. And I'll hit enter. And I want to show you that variable. Should be somewhere here. Yes, right there. You can see side is 5 with a quote around it. And that's not what we want. We want the number 5. So let me stop that. Now you may have noticed all those other different variables. Those were functions that we import with Turtle because we were importing all of them. They all of a sudden become active. If you don't want to see that, we could just put a comment in front of that right now, but we are going to need it eventually. So here's how I can fix that all in one fell swoop. I can put an int right there. So now when I run it, you'll see what's going to happen. Let's step into that one pretty carefully. So it's going to ask us that. And I'll say 3. And so you can see what happens is that it gives me a 3 with quotes. The int will remove that and declare side with a value of 3, which we can just print that out. All right, so now that we've discussed that, the next thing I want to discuss is I want to discuss limitations on the sides. So I don't want someone to put in a side that I can't make. So what I'm going to use is a while loop. While side is less than 3 or side is greater than, how many is too many? I think 360 sides is too big. I'll say if side is less than 3, let's print, or let's say side equals int input too small. Please enter more sides. So that way we're gonna take inside again until they fix that. Okay. Now let's do this. Else, that means it was too small. So input, oh, excuse me, too large. So this is a very common thing to see in programs where we use a while loop to continue asking for the correct input until we get one that is acceptable. All right. So I want to, and then we're going to use this eventually, but for now I'm just going to print out the word side. Okay. So let's debug it again this time. And I know I'm missing my turtle import. We'll have to use that in a minute. Okay. So I've got side, and we know what's going to happen there. It's going to ask us and then int it. So I'm just going to step over that. I'm going to say 2. Okay, so now I want to really pay attention to what's going to happen here. The side variable is 2. So let's step into it. It says side is less than 3 or side is greater than 360. It's a while loop, but it's only going to begin the loop at all. It's a while loop, but we're only going to enter this boxed in region here, this while loop, if this is a true statement. So how is it going to evaluate? Well, it's an or statement. With an or statement, either one of these things being true will evaluate the true. It's saying, well, either one of those is true. So let's take a look at it. So 2 is less than 3. That is a true statement. Now, what happened there is rather interesting. Did you notice it didn't check if side is greater than 360, which would have been false because side is 2. Well, when you ask somebody when you ask Python, with an or, and it turns out that the first thing is true, it's not going to look at the second thing. If I say, do this if this is true or that is true, if the first thing's true, it's going to get right to work. So we call that short circuit of or, is that it's just going to skip it. The same thing happens with the and. If I say that these two things have to be true, if I say A and B has to be true, well, if A is false, we're not even going to look at B. So it's just an interesting thing to note. Okay, so because side was less than 3, we are going to enter the while loop. And let's see. Side is less than 3. That should evaluate to true, right? So because it's true, we're going to go ahead and ask us this question. Notice what it says is too small. Okay, so I'm going to enter 450. Okay, remember, print is all the way back on line 7, all the way dedented back to the side. So it's outside of the while loop. So we're still in the while loop. We're going to check if this is true. Let's step into it. Okay, that is false, right? Because side is now, as you can see over here, 450. So that's going to be false, but because it's an or, we're going to keep going and check the other one as well. But that one is true. How does false or true evaluate? It condenses to true. False or true is true. Okay, side less than 3, that's false. So we're not going to go there. So we're going to automatically go to the else branch. When you have if and else, if the if is false, you're going to go straight to the else. Okay? All right, I think we know what that's going to do. Let's step over it and enter a better number. Let's do 20. Okay, so now side is 20. Is side less than 3? False. Is side greater than 360? False. False or false? That's the only way an or statement can be false, is if both of them are false. So that's going to be false. So we will not go in the while loop. And I said it just a print. So that's a way to use a while loop to make sure someone's answers conform to our requirements. Okay? Now let's go ahead and add in the functionality of the turtle. I'm going to just stop looking at my variables though, because it's going to get kind of ugly again. From turtle, import star. And I'm going to use another while loop. I'm going to make a value, I'll call it x. Okay, and I'm going to say while x is less than side. And I'm going to say forward. And I don't think we need to make a variable, but we could. I'll just say 100 for now. So we're going to go forward 100, and then we're going to turn left. We could also say turn right. It'll work out just which direction you want to go. I'm going to take 360 degrees, and I'm going to divide it by the number of sides I have. And I'll use integer division. So by using the double divide, I won't get any decimals. And I'm going to go ahead and divide by side. Okay? Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. Let's try it with the regular division. I think that might actually. I think you can enter decimals in the left, and that would make it more accurate. So let's do that. We'll do 360 divided by side, so we will get fractional degrees and things like that. And because we're using a while loop, we need to increase the x. All right, let's try it. Well, I want a 5-sided pentagon. Let's see what it makes me. Made me a pentagon. All right, let's try it again. I want a 17-shaped polygon. What are you going to make me? Whoa, it's kind of big, isn't it? All right, I'm going to make that a little smaller then. So it seems like that we really need to kind of consider how big that forward should be based on the size of this shape. It's looking very circular, isn't it? Let's try again. Let's try 360. That's as big as we can do. Should look almost like a circle, but woof. So it's really big now. Because when you take that 20 and do it 360 times, you're going to get a pretty big circle. So I think it's important that we kind of consider changing this value. It might be a good idea if we did something like, maybe we wanted the side to be 200 divided by the side. We could do that. We could do that, and then it might be, you can see it made the circle. See, that's going to make the amount that we go forward smaller based on how big an object they make. There's the 360 divided by side. Okay, see, it's a lot smaller. That's kind of cool, right? It's basically a circle now, isn't it? It is a 360 sided polygon, but since it's a regular polygon, it almost looks exactly like a circle. So anyway, I hope you find that interesting and insightful. I want to go ahead and do one more little tweak to this. I want to ask you to pause the video and see if you can't rewrite this without using X and a while loop. I want you to use a for loop. We talked about for loops a little bit as well. So why don't you pause the video, and you shouldn't need an X anymore. You could just do a for something in range. When you're done, unpause it and we'll go over it. Okay, if you're back at this moment, I hope you have paused it and tried it. So what I'm going to do, let me just leave that there for reference for a second, is I'm going to say for x in range, and I can use any variable I want here. For x in range, side. That will do something side amount of times. And then I'll use my forward 200 over side, and my left 360 over side. And it should work exactly the same, just a different way of doing it. And remember, if you're having trouble understanding how the code is working, that's what that debugger tool is going to do. Not only will it help you fix the code when something's going wrong, but it's going to help you understand your code. Let's do a non-gon. And there it is, a 9-sided polygon. And you may want to play with this number as well. Maybe that's too small for you. Let's see what happens if I try 400 on the non-gon. Yeah, it looks pretty good, doesn't it? So that's pretty much it for the ShapeAsk program. I want to introduce a project for you. I'm going to have you make your own choose your own adventure / role play game, text-based adventures. Now, when I was really young, we used to get on these online board games, we call them, like door games, we call it door on bulletin board systems, and they were all text-based, and sometimes they have like ASCII art, and we can do that as well. But they didn't have graphics because it was too slow to try and download a picture off the internet, much less have animation. So everything was like text-based, and you know what? They were pretty fun. And so I'm going to ask you to make your own. So let's take a look at the world's simplest text-based game, and we'll make one together. So I am going to start by making the character have some health. I'm going to say 100. All right. And I'm going to print out some information. I'm going to say, you are walking through the woods and you come upon a Wolverine. And now, at this point, I can actually try and print a Wolverine using ASCII art. So I'll call it like art. And if I use 3 quotes, I get this multi-lined kind of picture. Now, there are some things that are restricted in Python. For example, the quote itself, if I want to put a literal quote, I usually need an escape sequence, which is this backslash in order to make it. But I'm going to let you figure that out and play with it. So I'm going to make my Wolverine. I don't really know how to make a Wolverine, but I'm going to do my best. Now, if you go online and you look at ASCII art online, you'll see some pretty cool stuff. And there's like it's amazing like what the human mind can do with simple characters when we put them together in our mind to form these kind of pictures. So, you know, see here, the Wolverine's gonna have like, I don't know, percent signs around his back. How's that sound? Right? Arg. And maybe like a tail. And then, the Wolverine, it has like really, really powerful claws, right? So these are like his grippy claws. Well, these are his legs, but his legs are like super muscular. That's why they're all curly like that. But then he's got the super grippy, I don't know, feet. No, I like him spaced out. And then I'm going to put little, let's see here. See, that's his claw. All right, yeah, you don't want to mess with this guy. He's pretty beastie. All right, there we go. And then I close off. So now I'm going to print my art. All right. That's just going to add a little flavor to my game. Now I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to say input. No, response. I gotta have something to catch the response. I'm going to say response. Input. What do you do? No. We're going to print. What your choices. Let's say that. Your choices are. And then I'll print their choices. Maybe indent just a little bit. I'll say punch Wolverine in face. Okay, I'm going to give you another choice. Point and laugh at Wolverine. And then lastly, I'm going to say run away screaming and crying. All right. Input. Well, we got to catch the input. See, I got to have a variable res or for response or something like that. And I'll say, what do you do? All right. So now we can use our if statements. If res is equal to A, so we have chosen to punch the Wolverine in the face. The Wolverine bites off your entire arm, taking 99 damage. So I'm going to say health minus equals 99, which will decrease my health by 99. All right. Now I'm going to say elif, because elif is, okay, the if wasn't true, so now if the if is true, if A is true, I don't want to check anything else. I just want to go on with past this entire block. I'm going to say res equals, okay, choice B, and I'll say like, that's the dumbest thing you could ever do. I mean, you don't point and laugh at a Wolverine. That's just very bad. You are dead, because you pointed and laughed at a Wolverine. So because I'm just going to set the health immediately to 0. So no matter how much health you have, how many potions you have, that just immediately kills you. All right. Else, I'm going to say you live to fight another day, you coward. You got a little bit of snarkiness, right? But at least you survived. And then um, I'm gonna so that then I can have other monsters. So I'm gonna add more monsters later. All right, and there's lots of different things I can do. I can check and see, hey, do I am I still alive, right? Because I only want to continue if I'm still alive, and if I'm not, then I won't let them hit those other attack those other monsters. Let's take a look at this, and let me save it first, and then I'll call this monster fight. And we'll run. Oh man, look at that Wolverine! All right, I am going to punch the Wolverine in the face. 99 damage. All right, I'm gonna do that. That's the dumbest thing ever. That you are dead, dead, dead. All right, and then I can try C. You'll fight another day. So after we add some other monsters, we're gonna ask this question. We can say if health is greater than or is greater than 0, print you survived the woods. Else, print you, I don't know, you lose, you lost the game. All right, so we can add that kind of element to it, so that if I point and laugh at it, you'll see that I lose, and that'll be important in as you add more monsters. So that's the not a very good version. Y'all are going to make a much better version, man. Let me tell you, let me motivate you. I have seniors in my computer science class every year that like to bring out their monster fight game from their freshman year when they were coding in CS1. And it's just it's a hoot. These games are always super popular. We'll go on, we'll do fun stuff, more fun stuff with graphics and interactive stuff, but this game could be something really special and fun, and a nice snapshot of your demented mind. So have fun with it. I can't wait to see it, and until I see you again, take care.